Tonight, when you wake up at 3 in the morning and stare at the dark ceiling, you will think something has broken inside your brain. You will check your phone. You will calculate the hours until your alarm screams. You will lie there, rigid with panic, convinced that everyone else is asleep and you are failing at the most basic human task. But here is the truth that no one told you. For most of human history, waking up in the middle of the night was not a malfunction. It was the plan. The historian A. Roger Ekirch spent nearly 20 years reading diaries, court records, prayer manuals, and literature from before the Industrial Revolution. He found something strange. People did not describe sleeping through the night. They described two sleeps. The first sleep began shortly after dusk, when the body finally surrendered to the dark. The second sleep began a few hours later, in the deepest and quietest part of the night. Between them lay a calm, deliberate waking. This was so ordinary that no one thought to question it. A doctor's manual from 16th century France advised couples that the best time to conceive a child was not before bed, but between the first sleep and the second. A poem from the same era described the hours between sleeps as the moment when the soul could speak most clearly. No one called it insomnia. They called it the watch. But was this just a quirk of European history? Or did the human body itself remember this rhythm? The psychiatrist Thomas Wehr wanted to find out. In the 1990s, at the National Institute of Mental Health, he placed a group of modern adults in a laboratory and gave them something almost no one gets anymore: 14 hours of darkness each day. No phones, no lamps, no glowing clocks. For the first few weeks, they slept long and deep, as if catching up on years of debt. Then their sleep began to split. Every single subject drifted into a pattern of two sleeps, separated by 1 to 3 hours of peaceful wakefulness. Their bodies, stripped of artificial light, remembered what their ancestors had known. The brain naturally produces a surge of prolactin during that middle-of-the-night waking, a hormone that creates a feeling of calm, even contentment. You were not designed to panic at 3 a.m. You were designed to enjoy it. So what happened in those hours between sleeps? The historical record is surprisingly vivid. In rural communities without electricity, people stoked fires, ate small meals, talked with neighbors who were also awake, or simply lay in the dark thinking. Some prayed. Some made love. Some visited other houses, moving through the village like ghosts in a world that had agreed to pause. The darkness was not empty. It was social. The anthropologist Carol Worthman studied non-electric societies across Africa and found that sleep was rarely a solitary event. Families slept in groups, woke in groups, and used the night as a shared resource. The idea of one person alone in a dark room, panicking about productivity, would have been unrecognizable to your ancestors. Then came the light. Not firelight, which flickers and fades and invites the eye to rest, but gaslight and then electric light, which holds the night at bay indefinitely. The Industrial Revolution did not just change work. It changed time itself. Factory whistles demanded identical schedules from millions of bodies. Artificial light compressed the evening, pushing bedtime later and later. The space between first sleep and second sleep collapsed under the pressure of the clock. By the early 1900s, the very phrase second sleep had vanished from common language. People still woke in the night, of course. But now they had been taught that this was a disorder, a failure, something to medicate. And here is the counterintuitive twist. The more you fear waking up, the worse you sleep. Modern sleep medicine has created a paradox. By insisting that 8 hours of uninterrupted darkness is the only healthy pattern, it has turned a natural biological rhythm into a source of anxiety. The sleep researcher Neil Stanley, who has spent decades studying sleep across cultures, points out that the concept of insomnia as a medical condition barely existed before the late 19th century. People woke, they accepted it, and they returned to sleep. Today, you lie awake calculating the damage to your health, your work, your sanity. The panic itself floods your body with cortisol, the very hormone that keeps you alert. You are not suffering from a sleep disorder. You are suffering from a mismatch between your biology and your expectations. Think about your own bedroom right now. There is a clock glowing somewhere. There is a phone charging within arm's reach. The street outside is lit like a stage. Your brain is bathed in artificial light until minutes before you close your eyes, and then it is expected to produce a seamless 8-hour blackout. No wonder it rebels. No wonder it wakes. Your ancestors spent their evenings in dim firelight, their retinas slowly flooding with melatonin, the hormone that tells your brain darkness has arrived. You spend your evenings staring at a blue rectangle that convinces your brain the sun is still up. When you finally sleep, your circadian rhythm is already confused. And when you wake at 3 a.m., your panicked checking of the time sends a fresh jolt of light straight into the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the the part of your brain that controls alertness. But what if you stopped fighting it? What if, on the nights when your eyes open in the darkness, you treated it not as an emergency, but as a visit from your own biology? The historical record suggests that the hours between sleeps were some of the most creative and intimate of the day. The poet Thomas Middleton wrote of the sweet silence of the night as a time when the mind could wander freely without the noise of the day. The Tiv people of Nigeria still wake in the night to talk, to tell stories, to resolve conflicts that the busyness of daylight obscured. Your brain, in that quiet gap between sleeps, is not broken. It is processing. It is remembering. It is doing exactly what it evolved to do over millions of years in a world without switches. The modern obsession with sleep efficiency is a kind of arrogance. You assume that your body should operate like a machine, with standardized inputs and outputs. But your body is not a machine. It is a living archive of every environment your ancestors survived. It remembers the savannah. It remembers the cave. It remembers the long dark. And when it wakes you at 3 a.m., it is not attacking you. It is inviting you into a rhythm older than electricity, older than factories, older than the very concept of a schedule. Tonight, when you wake up at 3 in the morning and stare at the dark ceiling, you will know that nothing has broken. You will know that your brain is simply keeping an appointment it has kept for 100,000 years. You will breathe, you will wait, and you will let the second sleep come when it is ready.